Hi guys, welcome back to Career Launcher YouTube. In this particular video and through this series of videos, what I am taking you through is some must do DILR sets or some must do questions of arithmetic and algebra that you should know if you are preparing for CAT 2022. And in this particular video, I have picked a set from CAT 2019 slot 1. It is a set that some of the people may categorize as games and a set from games and tournaments, while I consider it a simple set of arrangement where there is some missing data. So it is a data set in which some data is missing, and let us go ahead and look at how to go about such kind of questions. So let's get started. Okay, so this is the set. So it is given, what is given in the set is, see, basically if you look at the set, the quantum of information given is essentially a parameter that people consider while they are selecting or deselecting a set. Now if you actually look at the quantum of information given, the setup, the data points, there are only 5 data points, and there's a small table in which some data points are missing. We'll figure it out. Okay, so what is given here is 6 players, TUWXYZ competed in an archery tournament. The tournament had 3 compulsory rounds 1, 2, 3. So the first 3 rounds in the table, as you can see the table also simultaneously, first 3 rounds are compulsory rounds. In each round, every player shot an arrow at a target. Hitting the center of the target is called hitting bullseye. Fetched the highest score of 5. So if you hit the center of the target, you'll get 5 marks. Otherwise, the other possible scores that one could achieve is 4, 3, 2 and 1. So very good thing about this set is all the scores are integral. 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1 are the only 5 scores which are possible. Every bullseye score in the first 3 rounds gave a player one additional chance to shoot in a bonus rounds 4 to 6. The possible scores in rounds 4 to 6 were identical to the first 3. So in the rounds 4 to 6 also, you could score 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 points only. So if you score a bullseye in round 1 or round 2 or round 3, if you score one 5 pointer in any of the rounds, you will be allowed to play one additional round among round 4 to 6. If you score all the 3, okay, in all the 3 rounds, in all the first 3 rounds, if your score is 5, then you will be allowed to play all the 3 rounds after that. Okay, a player's total score in the tournament was the sum of the scores. Okay, not much to understand or assimilate over here. The only 2 important sentences we have come across till now is this. Okay, the table below represents partial information. Okay, missing data. In the table, NP means that the player did not participate in that round, while a hyphen means that the player participated in that round and the information missing. So only hyphens correspond to information missing data. Everything else, for round 4, 5, 6, there is no missing data except for this player X over here. Only this player X has a missing data over here. So this is what we know. And some additional facts are given. T, U and Y had the same total score. Total scores of all players except one were in multiples of 3. Excellent. The highest total score was one more than double the lowest total score. Okay. So if the lowest total score was X, the highest total score was 2X plus 1. So basically we can say the highest total score was an odd number. That is for sure. The numbers of players hitting bullseye in round 2 was double that of the people hitting in round 3. So round 2 my number of bullseyes is double that of the people scoring that in round 3. T and Z had the same score in round 1 but different scores in round 3. So this is a set which you'll typically take 3 to 4 minutes to read the set and understand. Now it is at this point in time that you have to gauge whether you can solve this or you cannot solve this. So what is the complication in solving this? Did we understand the data given over here? Yes. Did we understand this statement? Yes. Are we able to draw any additional conclusions? For example, you can see that if X participated in round 6, that means X played X played all of round 4, round 5 and round 6. Doesn't it mean that he must have scored 5 points? He or she must have scored 5 points in all the first 3 rounds. He must have scored 5 points in all the first 3 rounds. If T is playing only round 4 and not round 5 and round 6, T must have got 1-5 among the first 3 rounds. You must have secured 2-5s because you participated in round 4 and round 5. Similarly, W got no 5s at all, no bullseyes at all. Yonita Y must have secured 1-5, and Zeneca Z must have secured 2-5s. So this is some information that we can directly, without actually putting much thought into the question, looking at the table itself, reading the setup itself, we can put this without actually putting much thought into the 5 data points. So the call you have to essentially take is 5 data points assimilating information from 5 data points and hence solving a puzzle which is based on numbers? Because please understand, there is multiples of 3 that has come into picture. The total scores of 3 people have the same that has come into the picture. So are you comfortable in solving questions based on numbers, where the numbers are also not complicated? The numbers are 1 2 3 4 5, very small numbers. So at this point, if you feel that, boss, I am not comfortable in trying out different combinations of numbers or different cases for numbers, then I think it is a question that is worth leaving. Otherwise, it is a question worth solving. These are the questions. What was the total highest score? Number 1, what is Z's total score? Which of the following statements is true? What was T's score in round 3? So all the 4 questions are fixed answer questions. So it gives us an idea that using the data points, we should be able to solve all the 4 questions. That means we should be able to fill all the numbers in the table. And hence, because there are only 5 points for me to comprehend, in my mind what goes is, okay, if I take 5 more minutes now, I should be able to ideally fill the entire table. And if I can fill the entire table in 5 minutes, it's only then that, if I have that confidence, it's only then that I should be solving this set in the paper, or otherwise leave the set, depending on whatever your convenience is. So let's take a look at how to go about solving the question. We know that X scored 5, 5 and 5 over here, while Z scored 2 5s in the first 3 rounds. Z will have 2 5s somewhere. Y will have only 1 5 somewhere. W will have 0 5s. Umeza U will have 2 5s somewhere, and T will have exactly 1 5. So what is the total number of 5s that are there in round 1, round 2 and round 3 combined? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 5s in the 9 bullseye shots in the first 3 rounds. Okay, what do we know? What are the points that will help us? What are the points that will help us to get to some conclusion? The total scores. There are certain points based on the total scores. Okay, so the total score, look at X. X has 4 5s and 1 1. The other, in round 6 also, he'll get a minimum of 1. So can I say X score is greater than or equal to 22? Similarly, Z also have 2 5s over here, 2 more 5s in the first 3 rounds. So Z score will be greater than or equal to 21. That is, these are 2 conclusions we can make about the total scores. Definitely, it is given that T, U and Y had the same total score. Okay, उसको बाद में देखते हैं क्या करना है उसका देखते हैं. The highest total score was one more than the double of the lowest total score. Highest total score was one more than the double of the lowest total score. So that means the highest total score has to be an odd number. So 24 cannot be that number. 24 cannot be that number. Okay. Who can have the lowest total score? Now please understand, because T, U and W, what is the highest score that W can have? What is the highest score that W can have? What is the minimum score that T can have? He already has a 4 and 5. If he already has a 4 and 5, and he has one more 5 definitely, so his minimum score is 14 plus 1 15. So we can say T score is greater than or equal to 15. T score is greater than or equal to 15. Similarly, U score will be exactly same as T score according to the first point, and Y will also have a score greater than or equal to 15. But when it comes to W, when it comes to W, the maximum he can score in the next 2 rounds, the other 2 rounds among round 1 and round 3 is 4 and 4 respectively, because he does not get a chance to participate in round 4, round 5 or round 6. So W has a maximum score of 12. So W score is less than or equal to 12. So it's a guarantee that W is the guy with the lowest score. W is the guy with the lowest score. What was the highest score? 24 is ruled out. Okay, we already know that X will have a score greater than 22. X will have a score greater than 22. So 21 is also ruled out. It's either 23 or 25 now. So let us say that X has let us say that the highest score is 23. If the highest score is 23, the lowest score is 23 minus 1 divided by 2, which is 11. But the problem is, here it is given the total scores for all players except one was in multiples of 3. See, 23 is not a multiple of 3 and 11 will also not be a multiple of 3. So we'll get two scores which are not multiples of 3. So we can eliminate option 1. The correct answer to this should be 25. The highest score must have been, the highest score in this tournament must have been 25. And if 25 is the highest score, just imagine, can Z score 25? That means he'll require 5, 5 and 5 in the first 3 rounds, which is not possible. So Z cannot be the highest. Who can be the highest at this point in time? Only X. So X has a highest score of 25. That's it. That's a period. That means the lowest score possible must be equal to 12. If the lowest score possible is equal to 12, that has to belong to W. And if W scored 12, the only his score in round 1 and round 3 have to add up to 8, such that his score in round 1 and round 3 has to add up to 8, such that he cannot score 5 in any of the rounds. So the other 2 points have to be 4 and 4 respectively. So for W we have fixed 4 and 4. We have fixed scores 4 and 4. Now we know Z's total score has to be less than or equal to, Z's total score has to be less than 25. That is for sure. Z's total score has to be less than 25 according to question 2. Okay. What are the other things we can really explore? Number of players hitting bullseye in round 2 was double that of number of players in round 3. Let us say there were one bullseye in round 3, then there will be two bullseye in round 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. We know that we require a total of 9 bullseye shots. We require a total of 9 bullseye shots in the first round. That means you should have 6 bullseye shots in round 1, which is impossible because there are only, because W doesn't have a 5. So it is not possible. If we consider the case that in round 3 there are one bullseye shots. There is only one bullseye shot. It will only be possible when round 3 there are 2 bullseye shots. In round 2 there will be 4 bullseye shots, leaving 3 bullseye shots for round 1. So in round 2, if there are 4 bullseye shots, we can definitely say this is 5, this is 5, and this is 5. This is 5, this is 5, and this is 5. So all 3 of the missing values in round 2 were definitely 5s. All 3 of the missing values in round 2 were definitely 5s. Now just take a look at what about T? What about T or Y? For example, Y over here has a total score of 5 plus 3 plus 5. 13 points already. Y over here has a total score of 13 points already. So now if Y has 13 points already, and we know that his total score has to be a multiple of, his total score has to be a 3. The only score possible for us right now will be 15. And if his total score is 15, then U and T's total score will also be 15. So if Y's total score is 15, he must score 2 points in round 1. Okay. Now we know that there are exactly 2 more 5s that have to come into the round 1. We know that there are exactly 2 more 5s that have to come into the round 1. We know that T and Z had the same score in round 1. Either both of them will be 5 or both of them will not be 5. If both of them are not 5, you will not be able to fulfill the condition of 3 5s in round 1. That means both of them have to be 5. And if the total score of t is 15, 5 plus 5 plus 4, this has to be 1. This has to be 1. And if the total score of u is also 15, he cannot have 5 in the round 1, so he must have 5 in round 2. 5 plus 5 plus 1 plus 2, 13. So this has to be 2. This has to be 2. What else do we know? Right now, what is the total score of z? Right now, what is the total score of z? We have 5, 5, 5 and 5. We have 20 points. Now, z has to be a multiple of 3. If z has to be a multiple of 3, it can either, the score of z in round 3 can either be 1 or 4. But can he have a 1 in round 3? T and z had different scores in round 3 because t has taken away that 1. T has taken away that 1. We can be very sure that z must have scored 4 points here. As a result, his total score is 24. And if x has 5, 5, 5, 1 plus 5, this is 21. His total score is 25. This is 4. So we have been able to fill the entire table. I don't think there should be any issue in answering any of the questions now. What was z's total score? It could not have been 23 or 24 any which way. It had to be, because it was in the very beginning we had figured out that it is greater than or equal to 21. Greater than or equal to 21. Had to be out of 21 or 24, but because of the reason that t and z cannot have the same score in round 3, it will be 24. Which of the following statements is true? X was the highest scorer. X was the highest scorer. What was t's score in round 3? T's score in round 3 was 1. T's score in round 3 was 1. That's the set, guys. It's basically a set of missing data, as I told you. Once you figure out, once you are able to comprehend the setup given of the question, and if you find that the data points that are given, there are only 5 data points, if whether they are easily understandable or not, if is the language easy or is the language difficult to comprehend, or are the numbers in the question complicated, are the stuff, or are the questions having cases, are the different kind of parameters you should ideally look at. You should ideally look at when you are taking a judgment with whether or not to go about a missing data set. I personally like solving questions of missing data. I think this is a set that can be solved entirely within a time frame of 12 to 13 minutes, and if you get 12 marks in 12 minutes, I don't think that is bad at all. So that's the video, guys. If you like our content, please hit a like button over here and also subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss out on any of the videos even going forward. Thank you.